Today I'm going to be showing you how to reliably print TPU material on the Prusa XL. In this particular case, this part was printed with 85 durometer TPU. It was a honeycomb shape to make it even softer. So if you're making like a grip or something, this works really good. This was printed vertically as a multi-material with PLA in the first head and the 85 durometer TPU in head number 5. This was printed just as one piece. Once again, 15% infill, made it super soft. So if you want to make rubber parts and you want to make them really soft, depending on your application, this is another part you can just print by itself. So the challenges of printing reliably on any 3D printer, but especially the XL, is that the rubber material that you're feeding is like really stretchy. And so as it goes to the Teflon tubes, it can stretch and it can get kind of stuck and has a problem reliably feeding the TPU material. So by bypassing the Teflon tube, we can actually get much more reliability when it comes to printing with TPU. And in this case, you know, a multi-material with the rubber is pretty cool. So here's a system we built. I'll leave a link in my website that you can buy this whole setup, hardware and everything. So this spindle here lets you kind of, regardless of the ID of your spindle, this will lock right into it. And it attaches right to the unit. Once again, hardware, everything is included. Takes about 5 or 10 minutes to assemble it and another 5 minutes or so to put it on the printer. So it's pretty easy. So you could buy it from our website or you could make your own. You want to make sure you're above here with the spool and make sure that you're outside of this outer plane. But I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do this and how this is going to work now. So the first thing I want to do is from the main menu of the printer is I want to tell it I want to filament and then load filament. I'm going to pick head number 5. And the reason we're using 5 is because you want this on the end. You could possibly do it on this side if you have one head. Have to experiment like that. But in this particular case, I'm using the 5th one because it's now off to the side always. So we just basically told the XL to go ahead and load material in tool number 5. We're now going to scroll down and select flex material. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to push down on this blue collar, push down, and then lift up on the Teflon tube and just let it sit there loose. Now it's recommended that you loosen the tensioning springs here. There's tensioning springs on the back for the material. So for TPU, because it's softer material, try around 2 to 3 turns to loosen it. When you're done, now you can just go back and tighten them 2 or 3 turns when you go back to your regular material. So that's already been done. So what you want to also do is make sure you have a nice clean snipped end. Make sure it's not all gooey. And so we're going to go ahead and feed this in. And I suggest you kind of give it a little pressure. And then even when it's feeding in the first couple seconds, just until it gets gripped because it's such soft rubber. And we're going to now just load the material like we normally do. And we're going to let it purge out the bottom. Necessary, you can clean the tip if you need with a rag. I'm going to purge a second time just so that you can see we got good material flow. Okay, so we're going to say yes, that's a good load. I'm going to go back to the main menu and I'm going to go to the controls menu. I'm going to go pick park the tool. And I'm going to put the cursor on Park Current Tool, but I'm not going to hit it yet. So TPU loves to ooze a lot. So what I like to do is I like to give it a second to slow down on the oozing. And what I do is I kind of wipe the nozzle and then pick the park. And that's going to go ahead and put it in the park position. And it's got that little cap on the bottom to prevent it from oozing out when it's in the park position. And then I'm going to also go back to the preheat menu, go all the way to the bottom and hit cool down. So now I'm going to let that head cool. That'll help with the oozing. We don't want to keep it on and then it's ready to go as soon as you set up your print. And of course, you're going to choose TPU for head number 5 and then go ahead and print from there.